He filed it himself. 33 days later, it was worth $0. On August 14th, 2019, Adam Neumann walked into the Securities and Exchange Commission and filed a 359-page document. It was supposed to make him the richest man in real estate. Instead, it became his suicide note. $47 billion, 6 weeks. One document, the most valuable startup in America. Evaporated. This is file 002, the 359-page suicide note. Before we open the document, you need to know who paid for it. The single richest investor on earth, Masayoshi Son, CEO of SoftBank, wrote Adam Neumann a $4.4 billion check after a 12-minute meeting. No due diligence, no financial models. Masa Son later said it on camera. He just liked the energy in the room. That's not a typo. 12 minutes, $4.4 billion. The richest investor on earth invested in vibes. And that single check is what set the rest of this in motion. But to understand the document Neumann filed, you have to understand the bathroom. On the 28th floor of WeWork headquarters, there was a bathroom-slash-tequila-bar. That's what the floor plan called it. Neumann installed it himself. Bottles of Don Julio next to the urinals. Because Adam Neumann did not think he was running an office company. He thought he was running a religion. He did not sell desks. He sold, quote, elevating the world's consciousness. His employees signed an oath. His parties had 2,000 people and live wolves. His Gulfstream G650 had cereal boxes stuffed with weed. He surfed inside the office, inside. And for 9 straight years, Wall Street believed him. Because the pitch deck contained one specific word that triggered a primal investor reflex: tech. WeWork was not a real estate company that rented offices. WeWork was, quote, a tech-enabled space-as-a-service platform. Same business, different word, different multiple. A real estate company trades at roughly 1 times revenue. A tech company trades at 26 times revenue. So the word tech, 3 letters, was worth, on paper, $46 billion. That is the narrative premium. The market pays extra for a good story. We do not price the asset. We price the storyteller. And the storyteller is always more expensive than the math. And here's where it gets dark. Buried deep inside the S1 filing, Adam Neumann did something no founder had ever done before. He renamed himself. WeWork, the public-facing company, was being repackaged inside a parent holding called the We Company. And Neumann had personally trademarked the word we through a private entity that he alone controlled. Then he sold that trademark to his own company for $5.9 million. Read that again. The CEO of WeWork charged WeWork $5.9 million to use the word we, a word that you and I just used in the sentence. That single line, buried hundreds of pages into the filing, is the moment Wall Street stopped reading the pitch and started reading the receipt. But the trademark was not even the worst part, because a few pages later was the section nobody at the SEC could explain. The corporate governance section. In a normal public company, shareholders get votes. 1 share, 1 vote. Adam Neumann's shares had 20 votes each. 20 times the power of any normal investor. His wife, whom he had appointed Chief Brand and Impact Officer, had the right to choose his successor if he died. His family controlled the board. Buildings he personally owned were leased back to the company he ran. Private rent checks, every month. Conflict of interest in 12 different directions, all disclosed, all in writing, all filed by Neumann himself. And then there was the line that finished it. WeWork, about to go public at $47 billion, had losses of $1.6 billion on revenue of $1.8 billion. For every dollar of revenue, WeWork was setting $2 on fire. But Neumann did not call it a loss. He called it, quote, community-adjusted EBITDA, a metric he invented, a metric that simply removed every expense he did not want to count. Rent, marketing, salaries, design. If you remove all the costs, of course the business is profitable. Of course, a lemonade stand is profitable if you do not pay for the lemons. That is when one banker at JP Morgan Chase reportedly turned to another and said, 6 words. We just printed a suicide note. The numbers cratered in real time. 47 billion, then 40, then 25, then 10, then under 8. Each day, a new investor read another page. Each page erased another billion. 33 days after Adam Neumann filed his document, September 16th, WeWork publicly withdrew the IPO. SoftBank rushed in a $10 billion bailout to keep the company from going bankrupt. Masayoshi Son later called the WeWork investment, quote, foolish. And Adam Neumann was fired from the company he built. And then, this is the part nobody can explain, Neumann walked away with $1.7 billion. $1.7 billion. For getting caught. The man who set fire to $47 billion got paid $1.7 billion to leave the building. But here's the question we should all be asking. Because what happened next is happening again right now. In 2022, the venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz handed Adam Neumann $350 million to start what? A residential real estate company called Flow. Same playbook, same founder, same word. Tech-enabled. Same investors writing the check before reading the document. And SoftBank's Vision Fund, the same entity that lost the most money in human venture capital history on WeWork, is now Vision Fund 2. Same managers, same pitch decks, different unicorns. This is the narrative premium. And it is not a Silicon Valley problem. It is a human one. We are wired to pay extra for a good story. From cult leaders to crypto founders to your brother-in-law's next big thing. We underweight the math and we overweight the storyteller. So here's how you protect yourself. The next time you see a private company described as tech-enabled, AI-powered, or the Uber of something else, 3 rules. That is all you need. Rule 1, strip the adjective. If you remove the word tech, what is the company actually selling? A desk, a juice, a scooter, price that. Rule 2, look at who is writing the check. Was it a 12-minute meeting, or did someone actually read the prospectus? Rule 3, when the paperwork lands, the S1, the 10K, the prospectus, that is not boring corporate noise. That is the receipt. The story stops the day the paperwork starts. Adam Neumann filed his own document. He thought it was his coronation. 33 days later, it was his eulogy. This was file 002. We'll see you on the next one.